Welcome to the AERO People podcast. Today we are certainly in one of the nicest offices in Vienna. I know this place 10 years ago, it looked very different. Jonathan, what you have done here to this place with the team is extraordinary. I guess your customers really appreciate the atmosphere you provide them here.
Yeah, actually, the concept here of our office was that it should be a place for customers. Some people call it the man cave. We have our own bar, we have our own fridge for our wine bottles and selections. So basically, I would say 75% of our office is dedicated to the customer, and only 25% would be like working surface where we would do our day-to-day work. And we wanted customers to feel comfortable when they come to our office, so we can discuss, important decisions in a very comfortable environment.
And I remember this inspired me to up our game. And I think before it was the other way around.
Yes. So we kept inspiring each other, but it was so funny when I told you that we're going to renovate our office, and it was like 10 years of Mesotis Jets, and you said, okay, so the startup phase is over. And we really had a long startup phase, and it was quite embarrassing that we had to meet customers in hotel lobbies or restaurants, because we were really like still a construction site here, because we really didn't care. We were running our business anyway, and only closest friends and customers came to visit us here. But like for new acquisitions, it was definitely not the place to introduce our services. And now we can say, that we are very proud to welcome anyone who wants to talk aircraft transactions.
This meets your clientele.
Absolutely.
We haven't spoken who your clientele actually is. What is that Mesotis Jets is providing to potential customers, future customers, partners? What is it that you do?
So let's start with what we do, and then I will tell you why we're doing what we're doing. What we do, it's very simple. We do aircraft transactions. We facilitate aircraft transactions as brokers. So like a broker would sell a real estate, we would sell an aircraft on behalf of a customer. Then we are also aircraft dealer. So it means that we are also happy to buy an aircraft into our inventory and then keep it and then sell it onwards when we find the right buyer. So that's the second thing we do.
I think that's quite a difference to a lot of, I tend to say in our field that they are bedroom brokers.
Yes.
If someone could buy aircraft, it's a different thing.
Yeah, it comes with time. I mean, at the beginning, and this is like the threshold to be a broker is not really rocket science. You need an iPhone, a computer, internet connection. So anybody can call himself an aircraft broker, because there's also no real regulation. Like when you want to sell real estate in Austria, you have to pass exams and you have to have like a certain certification in order to call yourself a real estate broker. Here in Austria, we actually are car dealer. And,
really?
Yeah, car dealership. So cars and planes are within the same category, and it's like an open business. So you just don't have to show real qualifications. So anyone who wants to sell aircraft can sell aircraft.
Okay.
Yeah, from a legal point of view.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of people also doing it or pretend they're doing it.
Yes. You have a lot of pilots that would like to earn money on the side. You have also technicians that are having a main job, and then on the side they would like to facilitate aircraft transactions, and we do respect that. We just believe that some people out there are also causing a lot of harm to the industry, to the reputation, because it's actually this is our disco light now coming on.
In our field, I consider those people who work in their bedrooms, bedroom camos. In your case, it would be bedroom brokers.
Yes.
And where's the difference between them and Mesotis Jets? Did you start it like that?
Everybody starts like that. Yes. Actually, Let me spool a little back into the past. So everybody knows that company, Jet Alliance. So that's where I really started to sell my first aircraft. And we had a beautiful office in Bad Vöslau, as you know, and we had a great reputation. So it helped us a lot to attract people to give us, a mandate to sell an aircraft. But in essence, if you don't have such a platform, yes, you actually start with a mobile phone and your laptop and an internet connection, and then you have to build up your name. And then you can immediately see how you differentiate yourself from the others, like having this office or being able to buy an aircraft. So then you become a dealer. You're not becoming dealer from the beginning. It takes a lot of time. And it took us also 10, 11 years, to get there where we are. Because one transaction triggers the next transaction and your reputation is going out into the market and people will talk about you and make referrals. If you cannot get out of that bedroom, you are basically trapped. And I see it very often with pilots. They are trying to go out of that bedroom, but they are simply not able to escape from it. Why? Because they have a job. They need to fly aircraft.
Yeah.
So if you have a transaction ongoing and you are somewhere in the air, you cannot be there. It's problematic.
Yeah. Everyone should stay in his professional field because then you could also excel, I think. But
correct. Yeah.
Aircraft are $1 million value, so of course it attracts people because they see the quick buck. It's like when you look in Dubai, I think there are 15,700 registered real estate brokers, which is crazy. It's for basically every apartment you have an individual broker.
I think it's okay that they are trying. Everybody wants to fulfill that dream, and they should try, but they should also be aware that you need commitment. You need to work hard for it. It's not easy, and that's why I think there is a natural selection.
Yeah.
So we are not really worried about that. What we are more worried is about the quality of services being delivered to the industry, and that some people really might then have a bad experience with a broker, and that would then backfire on us.
Yeah.
Because then you hear it most of the time from tech guys, oh, those brokers, they just want to collect your money. And
brokers never have a good reputation. I never heard anyone saying, or car dealers, I'm so happy to be with that car dealer. It's a necessary evil, probably. That's the reputation that you have. Sorry, my friend.
No, it's okay. I get it. And I actually also never liked the picture of a broker, knocking on doors, trying to sell you something. And that comes to the next question. Why are we doing what we're doing? So the name of our company, Mesotis, is actually the band name that I had. So we were playing in young ages in a band called Mesotis. And for us, it's like finding the balance between reasoning and emotions. And that's what we are actually trying to do in a transaction. We are more consultants than salespeople. So we have a lot of time people coming to us and they say, I want to buy an aircraft. And then we will check, okay, let us just try to understand what your mission profiling is. How many hours are you flying per year? And then he would say, okay, I'm only flying 50 hours a year. And say, then maybe it would be better to charter. Now, if he flies more than 200 hours a year, then you could say, okay, let's dig into it and see if it makes sense. And we had many times the case where we recommended a customer not to buy the aircraft because either he's financially not ready for it, or he's simply not flying enough hours to justify the ownership of an aircraft. And they actually appreciated that we were so honest to those people, because later on, when they maybe have a change of wealth or a change of profile, they would come back to us and then
usually when someone is at the step or at the brink to be a jet owner and he's not there yet, well, he usually gets there. So, and then it's right. If you gave them honest advice, I'm sure this comes back to you.
Yeah, but we always keep saying we rather lose a deal than losing a customer or somebody that comes to us and asks for advice.
Yeah.
So what we first do is always advise and consult, and then we would sell if we also believe that the transaction is in balance, that it makes sense.
It's a very different approach to a lot of, especially from bigger broker houses that in the industry, some of them have a very sharkish approach to business.
Yes, and they have to, because they have overheads. They need to cover their costs, so they are forced to sell.
Yeah.
We are not like really forced to sell because we have this office and we have employees, yes, but our overheads are completely different to those of the big players. In essence, we do our 7 to 12 transactions a year, and we are super happy with that. Sometimes we sell more, sometimes we sell less, but we are never selling under pressure. It's not a good thing to sell under pressure.
Yeah.
So we are quite relaxed with our customers, and we're not trying to push him into a direction where we believe that he will come back to us and complain at the end about it. So that's our approach, and I think the people working with us appreciate that.
But there are a few, or social media is getting more and more important.
Yes.
Also in our type of old school business, let's say so. And there are some guys who are already pretty famous. For example, Steve Versano of the jet business.
Yeah.
You see him, or I see him multiple times a day. I guess that is one of his approaches to find customers. If millions of people see you, then by nature there's 1 or 2 potential clients underneath them. You are not so visible publicly.
No, because our approach is more boutique-like, and we are making business on referrals. So I've never had a person that called us up and said, "Hey, I was checking your homepage and I like it and I want to do business with you." So I would say 100% of our business was triggered by referrals, and we like it that way. I have to say that Steve is doing a great job also for us in the industry, because it reaches out to young people that have never understood what it is to sell an aircraft. And sometimes people would approach me, "Hey, you're an aircraft broker, and I know this guy from TikTok, Steve. Are you doing the same thing what he's doing?" I say, kind of. But Steve has a completely different concept. He likes to be outside and he likes to be public. We like to be more discreet, which attracts other customers, of course.
Yeah, of course. There's the pie is large enough for everyone.
Exactly. So everybody has its own approach, but I think that Steve has shown the industry that it works, and it actually is good for the image to the outside world, to make them aware that there is such a job like aircraft sales. Yeah.
No, in general, I think with business aviation being in the news or
it's always bashing
people, who have a different horizon or different perspectives, probably blame like Taylor Swift for flying a private jet, but then they go to the concert where the concert produces a multiple of the CO2 than her jet does in the whole year. And I think people like Steve help to draw a different picture about the necessity.
Yes. And you see, it's very tempting to connect business jets with luxury, but I can tell you that most of our people are exactly not those people making selfies in front of the plane and making videos and bragging around what they do. For us, the business jet is a time machine. We can be more efficient. Taylor Swift uses the jet because she has to play a concert in Tokyo, and the next day maybe she has to be in LA, or she has to attend the Super Bowl. You cannot do it by using airliners. So it's a time machine to make you more efficient. And that's really the message that we are trying to send out. Yeah. And all those people that are making selfies and videos with a glass of champagne in their hand.
They usually don't have a jet.
They don't have a jet, exactly. But they wish they would have a jet. But our jet owners, I wouldn't say that you can use the word modest, but they are using the aircraft as a real tool and not just for leisure, and to brag around. And if we would be immortal and if we have all the time in the world, then of course a business jet doesn't matter anymore.
But our time
there's no justification. But if you have all the money in the world already, you are super wealthy, So the only thing that matters in your life is time.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to die, and they know that time is running out. So how can I use the time left, in the most efficient way? And that's the justification of a private jet.
Yeah.
And the only justification, So I'm really against those pictures of jet setting, glasses of
Probably
champagne.
security is another point for certain people.
Exactly, exposure, public exposure. If you don't want to be publicly exposed, you use a private jet because, being harassed all day long, and then you sit in an airline and everybody wants an autograph of you, it also makes you crazy.
No fun.
So there are several reasons, but the last reason for me using a private jet is to travel in luxury, with your champagne glass. It's just a wrong picture.
When you look actually in an average business jet that we would use in Europe, the seats are not bigger than in Eco Premium.
No,
They're probably softer, like this couch, but they're not wider or they don't recline more. And
I totally agree. I think that a first-class seat, Emirates or big airliners is much more comfortable to travel than in a private jet, and the food or the variety of food that you can cook in a galley in an airliner is of course different than using the small ovens, microwave ovens. You are restricted. So from a flying comfort point of view, I'd say that a first-class seat is way better than a business jet.
I would agree. When you think about these 380 lounges and whatever they have.
It's fantastic. You cannot have such lounges in the jet. But again, privacy, efficiency, you can fly where you want and when you want.
Yeah.
So a lot of people need this flexibility. They're in a meeting and they say, oh, okay, I need another hour. You would call your pilot, say, can you just delay the slot for an hour? And it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in a meeting, but you have an airliner to catch, you're always in the stress.
Yeah.
So it adds a lot of value to your life quality.
Is that the reason why people usually come to buy a jet?
Yes. In our case, yes. If somebody comes to us and he wants to buy a jet to show off, we already know that probably financially he will be restricted, and he's asking for financing, and then I will throw him a Conklin and Decker forecast of
and then
aircraft cost, and then he understands, all right, it might be not the right time to buy it. So you immediately have this feeling on profiling the customer, and most of the time those customers that just want to buy a jet to brag off, they are not real customers.
Yeah, I would agree. Latest when they buy the jet, of course, from someone who's not consulting them as well as you.
Yeah.
After the first year, when they see,
they will start to cry.
Yeah.
They will start to cry, and they will feel the pain, and then they will have to sell the jet again. Yeah.
Was aviation something you always wanted to pursue in your career or in your life? Because you said you had a band.
Yes, well, of course, my dream was also to be a musician and, earn my money with music. But then pretty quickly I understood that it's also a really hard life. I had a scientific mind. So actually I studied microbiology and genetics. And only after my master, I remembered this childhood dream of becoming a pilot. And that's what I did. So after my master, I was already inscribed for my PhD, and I said, okay, if I will not do it now, I will never do it. And I was inscribing for a PPL. And the first time I flew a Cessna 172, it was the deal was sealed. I knew that I will never. Yeah, I got addicted, and I knew that I will never leave this industry again. And it was exactly with Jet Alliance, where I started as a pilot student, and since then I'm in the industry, and every day I wake up, I would always ask myself, is it still what I want? And the answer is yes.
Yeah. Okay, could you imagine being a microbiologist? It would be a very different life.
It would have been a different life, and I've seen it during my master thesis. I missed the contact to people, and I missed traveling. Sitting in a laboratory can be interesting, science is important for me, but I think this is what aviation makes, or this is what makes aviation so attractive. You have the scientific aspects, you have the social aspect, you have the traveling, you get to meet new cultures, new characters, and you can listen to really nice stories, success stories of people that can afford buying a private jet. So I think that aviation is so attractive because it offers all of it and not just one aspect of it. And I don't see any other industry that could give me that pleasure and satisfaction that I find in aviation. So my guess is that I'm going to stay there until I retire.
if we ever retire. After you said you were at Jet Alliance, what was the decision, or what drove the decision to start your own business?
I was forced to.
You were forced to?
Okay. You know, financial crisis hit in, and business was going down. Unfortunately, the company had to lay off people, and they were struggling in cash flow. So yeah, I lost my job, but with a great respect to the company, because without it, I wouldn't have been there where I'm now. So we really separated in peace. I left in peace. I hope that my former boss sees it the same way. Yeah, I was forced to become independent, but I already knew that I don't want to go back into an employment. I always had this feeling that whatever I do, my next step will be rather to be independent and a free spirit, rather than working again for a company.
Yeah, your father is living that by example, huh?
100%, yeah. So he's also an entrepreneur in a totally different field, and I definitely got this input from him, and this is where I am now. But I was pushed into cold waters.
How cold was it at the beginning? Did you had moments where you said, okay, no, screw this?
No, actually never, because in Austria you are getting great support from the government. If you want to create your own business, you have programs that are supporting you. So I always felt supported, and I immediately got positive feedback from the industry that they would also want to deal with me and work with me. So after I left the company in April 2011, I actually created already my company in October, so 6 months later, because the business was there, the opportunities were there.
You just had to grab it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's nice. It's nice when you don't have to start from nothing, let's say so. But that's a good approach.
Yeah. No. I also got lucky, because I'm working in markets like Africa, as you do.
Yes.
And I love the emerging markets because compared to the saturated markets in Europe you have to take business away from other people. In Africa or India or South America, you can create new clients and create new business.
Yeah.
And it's so much nicer to have a new customer that you generated out of your efforts than taking one away from somebody else.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what I like so much working in emerging markets.
You don't make yourself enemies, let's say so, or less.
Yeah, you don't have to poach a business away from another.
Yeah.
I don't like to take business away from other people. I like competition. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose between an emerging market or saturated markets, I definitely go emerging markets. Yeah.
When you look into the future, where do you see Mesotis Jets in 10 years?
Wow, we had so many ideas, becoming maybe operator and offering financing solutions. And I think that Mesotis should keep going what we are doing, adding value to people's life. That's super important. That's why we're doing it. We want to add value. And we can add value over aircraft transactions, over consulting, and we have also our own insurance pool, where we would take single aircraft owners into that pool and to help them getting a better rate on the market.
That's quite interesting. That has nothing to do with actually buying or selling aircraft.
No, but it's part of our consulting project. And I mean, also that we represent JSSI in Africa, which is also a very important aspect of our consultancy work. So I think that we are happy to take any product into our portfolio where we believe that we can add value to the customer. So let's put it that way: the sky is the limit.
Yeah. But it's you would like to keep it in as a family business, let's say so, or in a boutique way. There's no intentions to become the next.
No.
Jetcraft, Freestream, you name it.
No, because there will be different dynamics, and we are pretty happy with what we have established so far. There's potential to grow, but at the moment, from a current point of view, I think we are exactly there where we want to be. Mesotis in 10 years, I don't know. I could imagine that we will have more offices. So we have one office already in the United States. I think that, yes, if we find same-minded people that would love to work for us, I can see us being established also in other countries. So that would be probably the way of growth that I see, because here in Vienna, we are quite happy with the team that we have in place. Maybe we can add 2-3 more people, but that's it.
Yeah. So if you're ever in the fortunate situation that you need to afford a jet and you prefer a personalized approach in a very nice settlement with very nice people, Google Mesotis Jets, or what's the best way to contact you? I guess finding you on the internet. Huh?
Yeah, we just use the word Mesotis and we will be the first hit because it's our own
It's our
brand,
creation,
our name.
yeah.
It's our own creation. So it's not difficult to find us.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Jonathan, for having us.
No, thank you, Stefan. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Great coffee from
Likewise.
another colleague that we know.
Yes.
So it's a family business, we could say so.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Jonathan. Have a good one.